For this Hall of Trials rotation, instead of 2 Earth Element heroes, we need 4 heroes with no overlapping elements. Last time we used Rowana, and since we're using Fenris as our DPS still, we've got to swap her out for a different healer. You're also going to have to be a little bit more careful when deciding on your strippers. So instead of Rowana, we're using Doris this time, who was suggested by somebody in my comments, and I didn't think she'd be able to tank, honestly. I considered her, but I didn't think she'd have enough healing for the team, rather. But turns out she works fine. If you are using a light stripper, then you're going to want to use Angelica instead. Angelica, ton of healing, and she'll be able to tank fine, so either Doris or Angelica, depending on who your strippers are. And we can take a look at their stats real quick too. So Doris, it's just about 200 speed, 100% crit chance, and then the rest of the stats into defense and HP. If you're too lazy to re-gear her, you can skip the crit chance, honestly, because the cutoff for top 5% was pretty low last time, so you should be able to get away without having any crit chance on Doris. And then Touch of Rekos as the artifact to give more healing to the team, because she can tank fine herself due to all her damage reduction. One more thing is that her HP is pretty important, because if you're using a tankier stripper, Harseti's S1 doesn't target the front line, it targets the highest HP ally. So if your other ally is struggling to survive, you might want to use Doris, or you might want to make sure Doris is your highest HP ally, and you can use her self-imprint to help with that if you need to, or if you need more HP for your allies, then you can swap it to this. And then we have Fenris as our DPS still. For him, it's just your best destruction crit set with low speed. Especially for auto, you want really low speed. And then, so I'm using Dux Noctis because this is before the balance patch, but odds are you're watching this after the balance patch drops, which that means you should be using Cruel Mischief because of the change, which will just make it the best slot artifact. If you already have Dux Noctis, it doesn't really matter which one you use that much, it's not that much of a damage change. But you should be using Cruel Mischief because it's free anyways, if you don't have a very high limit break Dux Noctis. So that's Fenris. And the 2 stripper slots, again, you have to make sure that their elements are different from your healer and Fenris. Sea Phantom Politis is the best one by far because of her S1. Her S1 is a 100% chance to strip. So you can just run her skills off, run her super fast, and with good tuning, she'll be able to strip both times. But it's a little bit hard to make sure that she can do it on all 3 phases, just because sometimes Fenris will move or Harseti will move before Politis gets to move twice. So you do want the second stripper generally. But we still have her super fast anyways, just to help us get more stacks in the break phase. We have her with a 100% crit chance, and her bulk doesn't really matter because of her S2 stealth. Since she stealths every single turn, she takes way less damage from Harseti than everyone else. And then for artifact, Bloodstone is really good because of all the extra healing that she gets, or she'll give to the team with her S1s. And then this slot, I'm just using Melissa, mostly for fun, because her extra turn gives me extra stacks on the break phase. Because she's a mage, she can hold the Yellow Violin, only 80%, but you could honestly, I had enough to make top 5% after the second break phase, I'm pretty sure. So even if I misstrip in the third one, it's kind of whatever. And since it's auto, you just run it a couple times until your strips land. Same thing with her, you want a little bit of bulk to not die. About 200 speed, 100% crit chance, and her damage doesn't matter too much, just might as well have it. And Torrent set is bad as usual, so just use crit set. For EE, it doesn't really matter too much. I just have this because this is what I had on her before. Doesn't really matter. Maybe this one, the lifesteal one, is useful, but it's not going to make too much of a difference since her damage isn't very important. And then here, none of this really matters. I just had it like this because I was using her before. Of course, not everyone owns Sea Phantom Politis, so we're going to take a look at some alternatives. We can sort by the spells, and we can also remove the Earth element since we have Fenris, and depending on your healer, you can either remove Light or Ice as well. And then we can look through here at the units. This doesn't sort by skill, but ideally we do want strip on her S1. Summertime Assyria and Blood Moon Haste have really high strip chances, but because they can't crit, they're not great options. Some really good options are Arwell, because Arwell has 275% strips on her S1. So a really high chance to strip. And then because of her high HP, you do want to be careful of the targeting thing, but you should be bulky enough to survive anyways. And then another good option is Saltaria, but you do have to be careful because her S1 will proc her S2. So because she's a mage, she can hold violin, so she'll have 75% and the 80% to strip. Just be careful with the break phase because of the extra attack. And then there's Mercedes, also a mage, and if you can get her S2 and activate during the break phase, that's during the barrier phase, that's 70% strips plus violin. Extra attacks can't strip the barrier, but it has a real weird interaction where the extra attack, even if it hits, or even if it strips, it won't strip on that hit, but the next hit will strip even if it's a contact move. Really weird interaction, but that's just how it works. And then you can just take a look through these, see what you have. Generally, I'd recommend using mages because they have the strip on the from violin. Like somebody said they were using Cowrick. Cowrick has 2 strips on his S2, which doesn't really matter because it's you can wear F-res, but if you don't have a Molid, it's still 2 strips. So you can just take a look at the units with the spells and see what you're using, and remember to remove the elements as you start picking up units. And now you can just take a look at the run if anybody wants to see how it plays out.
쓸모를 다했으니 이제 잠들어도 좋.
이제 아프지 않죠? 내가 활약할 시간.
안 봐줄 거야. 이 작은 화살 배치 전부 꿰뚫을 때까지.
슬슬 사라져 주겠네.
만만히 대가야. 이 일격에 내 의지를 모두 쏟아붓겠어.
도움이 됐나요?
이쯤 놀아줬으면 됐지. 슬슬 마무리하려고 해.
죽어라!
마지막 한 발까지 포기하지 않을 거야.
재미있구나. 그 덧없는 발버.
성가신이 비켜. 이 일격에 내 의지를 모두 쏟아붓겠어.
제가 치유해드릴게요.
젊은 힘 원한을 보여주겠어.
시간 낭비야!
애송이는 안 좋아해서.
물러서지 마세요. 맞설 힘을 드릴게요.
만만히 대가야. 이 작은 화살 배치 전부 꿰뚫을 때까지.
어려운 선택의 말로는 이토록 무섭다.
자, 내가 활약할 시간.
안 봐줄 거야. 이 일격에 내 의지를 모두 쏟아붓겠어.
우스운 장난이구나.
무섭고 두렵다고 해도 포기하면 안 돼요.
성가신이 비켜. 마지막 한 발까지 포기하지 않을 거야.
이쯤 놀아줬으면 됐지. 슬슬 마무리하자고. 죽어라. 자, 이제 아프지 않죠?
이 작은 화살끝이 전부 꿰뚫을 때까지.
쓸모를 다했으니 이제 잠들어도 좋아.
So 21 million as the final score is a lot higher than you need to get top 5%, because last week, or last rotation, it was only about 10 million, I think, to make top 5%, which is pretty low. So you can definitely just get a much lower score and you'll still be fine. We're predicting that the next rotation is going to be no overlapping classes, like it was for the past two bosses, in which case that would mean that we can't use Sea Politis. So we would need to look at some alternatives, but we can deal with that next week, and hopefully anybody who's doing the auto team with our unequip that we just got is able to get this working.